Are men happier with kids or without kids? First, before I even look at what I found, I'll say I don't think that kids bring like a little happiness pill with them for men or women, probably either one. I mean, I think kids are fantastic, but I was happy and I was balanced and I was healthy and content before I ever had kids. So, how could that be? And it's because of the key ingredient, in my opinion, which is purpose. My purpose in my 20s was for myself. I worked my butt off. I had a lot of fun. I was very happy. But my purpose was for me and happiness in what I called it at the time. Now, and for several years now, I've been dedicated to being a good husband, starting a family, and now that we have kids, I find purpose is significantly different today than it was before. And my happiness is absolutely greater than it was then. Not that it was bad then, not that it didn't exist. It's just different today. And it's different in a way that to me is far more grand. So I wanted to know, what do dads think? Like experienced dads, like I'm a new dad. What dads who've had kids for years, like what do they think? Are they happier with or without kids? So I took to the internet. Here's a couple of things I found. One of the things I found was the Institute for Family Studies. This is an article from 2018, from late 2018. We're going to compare men with kids, men without kids, real quick. So there's sort of a lot of different things to look at on this. I mean, a lot of it really is personal intent. What's your personal intent? If you intend on doing great things and just not having kids, you'll be happy. If you intend on having a family, that's what you want in life, you'll be happy going that way. It's not because the kids or the wife or the home brings you this load of happiness every day, but to me it's about intention. And this comes back to the root of what we are. Men are not these docile, stagnant creatures. We thrive. Our happiness peaks, our contentment, our peace, our enthusiasm, and like zeal for life. That stuff peaks when we have real purpose. And what more real purpose is there than sharing a home with somebody and raising children? There's a lot to be said about that, but I wanted to read through some of this anyway. This is from the Institute for Family Studies. They said a lot of stuff in here, but this was worth highlighting. What about the effects of just having children on happiness? Here the effects are gendered. Mothers experience less happiness than do childless women, but fatherhood now makes men happier. That didn't used to be the case, as I noted earlier, but it's changed as dads have become more involved with child rearing over the past 45 years. Yeah, so what they were saying earlier was basically that men had a far different role years ago, really before the 70s or so. Men's role in child rearing was far different than it is even in the late 90s, let alone today. I do find it interesting that every time I search for men's contentment with kids or are men happier with children, I keep finding these comparison articles, a study like University of California or some of these other places where where they're comparing men and women's happiness. And there's an interesting thing, it's a consistency I see there where women are called less happy than men when they're fathers or mothers. And I haven't gotten into that too much because I'm not trying to compare men and women or mother and father. And I imagine there's a big caveat on if you're a single parent with kids versus married with kids, that probably makes a big impact. But I want to know, experienced dads, are you significantly happier after having kids than before you ever had kids? Again, it's not about the kid bringing you this happiness pill. I think it's about something that's internal, something that's instinctual. Our view opens up and expands, and we see far different things than we did when it was just us living for our simple pleasures. Our legitimacy, our merit gets kind of written off sometimes as like, yeah, we're like cave dwellers or whatever, we're when we just have all these simple pleasures in life. I feel way more convicted to substance in my life these days when I'm convicted to being a good spouse, when I'm convicted to raising my babies, their future, their opportunities, everything that we're doing for them and for tomorrow. That's in my purview today. I don't care about the scene and the fun and just my simple pleasures anymore. I just shed that stuff. So I want to know what you think. Any experienced dads that aren't brand new, what's your viewpoint on this? Men, have babies. It's good for you. Do it the right way.